I'm going to be cooking this tasty little recipe. It's a spice glazed baked ham, and I'm using this Primo Easy Carve ham. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is remove the skin from the ham. We'll cut a nice little diamond pattern around the base. Just looks a little bit nicer for presentation's sake. So we're just scoring the top of the skin lightly. You don't want to cut through to the meat. Okay, this is the bit where I get up close and personal with the Primo ham. Now the best way to remove the skin is with your hands, all right? If you use a knife, you can cut into the fat, and you want to keep as much as possible. So basically, slide your hand in between the meat and the skin and just slowly work your way in. We're now going to score the fat. You need to be careful not to go too deep. You don't want to puncture the skin at all, so just nice gentle strokes all the way through. The last part of this process is to put the cloves in. So you'll notice that I've cut the ham about 1 inch apart, and that's so it doesn't open up too much. So what we do is push the cloves in at the intersection of every one of the cuts. A little bit time consuming, but it's well worth the effort, because the flavour from the cloves works so well with the spice in the glaze. Okay, now it's time to make the glaze. First thing we do, on a low heat, we add the beer, the water, got some cinnamon, got some cardamom, ground ginger, and our sugar. Now what we need to do is just stir that around on a low heat until this sugar is dissolved. That'll just take a couple of minutes. Okay, that sugar's all dissolved now. So what we'll do is just crank up that heat a little bit. This will start to boil, and we're going to reduce that till it's nice and thick and juicy. This is thickened up nicely. As you can see, it's really nice and syrupy now. So we'll take it off the heat. Stir in our seeded mustard. Just basically combine that. Okay, it's time to glaze this little baby. So I'm going to just brush this all over really liberally. I'm going to baste it a couple of times throughout the cooking process so we can just get the maximum amount of glaze on there. Now I used an amber ale in the beer in this glaze. The reason for that is that you can't just use any old beer. If you use a Pilsner or something like that, it's going to be too bitter. You want something with a lot of malt character, and that really carries through with the sugar, so make sure you get the right beer for this job. You want to be nice and liberal with this. Make sure there's a really good covering on here. You want that to caramelize and get as much flavour as you possibly can. Okay, the oven's on 190. I'm going to put this in for about 50 minutes. I'm going to glaze that 2 or 3 times throughout the process, because the ham opens up and you want as much glaze in there as you possibly can, so good luck. This baby is done. It smells so good. The glaze is caramelized. You get that smokiness from the ham. This just is going to be beautiful. Let's carve some nice big thick slices. The best thing about this ham is it's been partially deboned, so you can slice all the way up to the end and not lose anything. It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, that looks so good. That glaze is all crunchy and toffee-like, just stunning. Okay, so there we have it. We've got our Primo spice glazed baked ham.